Hi, this is Krishna Day and I'm actually about to get started. Just here we can see on the web with our event all about Instagram and the update that's happening here in terms of Instagram and hashtags. And in fact, you can see it here live streaming. So I'm just going to close that down. I just wanted to show people what happens when things go live. But anyway, let's get back to the main part of our content today. And if you follow my content over on Instagram, you may have seen this post, which was a couple of days ago, and it was about a change to Instagram's hashtag policy. And you can see here that there's a hashtag update, and I shared this. And basically, one of the things that's happened is that there's been a change about how Instagram is now managing hashtags. Hashtags are very important on many platforms, but particularly on Instagram in terms of a way to discover relevant content. So if you're an organization where you've got a hashtag specifically for an event or for your organization, I really encourage promoting that and also making sure people know about it, and they can also post that hashtag, and that helps you discover consumer generated content, which might give you great ideas for your marketing going forward, an opportunity to connect with people who are passionate about your brand, even ultimately influencers, online, whatever that area of influence might be. But one of the key things that's happened in the last little while is this change. So I see a few people joining me here. Thanks so much for doing so. What I would invite you to do is, if you are watching and you're on the app, then feel free to leave a question or a comment. And if you're watching on the web, then you can come over to Twitter later on and ask me, or if you prefer to do so privately, you can contact me by email or by LinkedIn. So what's this change that's happened? And really, I kind of just sum it up in a particular way of saying that Instagram have changed their policy, basically saying that it's about the order that hashtags will be posted. So a tip that many of us have been doing and following is, you can see here, this is against that particular post. I don't tend to put all of my hashtags in that initial post. And so you can see the details I put there on Instagram, and I asked the question about what do you think of the update. And then underneath it, you can see that I'd posted hashtags. I put different sets of hashtags there to help that content ultimately be discovered. And I can see a number of people here who have got some perspectives on it. So the key thing was, in the past, what many of us were doing is scheduling our content perhaps, or posting our content onto Instagram. After that, then we would put hashtags in, but we may not put all of those hashtags in immediately. So I might also plan hashtags at different times of day to actually reach different audiences. And what would happen is that when you click on that link for that hashtag, it would then bring you to a page of all the curated hashtags on Instagram. And then your content would be at the top. So let's say I had not posted on Instagram my hashtags until 2 days later, or even 2 months later. By adding the hashtags in a comment, it would mean that that post got curated at the top of the hashtag page for that content, even if it was several months ago. With this change this last week, Instagram have said all your hashtags, no matter when you put them, it could be several months later or it could be immediately, it will actually curate your content on the hashtag page at the time that original post, be that video or image, was originally shared. So let's see this in practice. Now, one thing that you may not be aware of, I wanted to share this from the web, and I'm actually logged in under my own name on Instagram, so you can follow me there over at Krishna Day. So I'm going to show you this in real time about what you might see. So thanks to everybody who's just joining us now. If you have got questions about what I'm covering, please feel free to post them. So here's an example of an organisation called Hilton Doubletree. So this is a hotel that's in Dublin, and here's their posts. So I'm actually following them, and I could see these posts that they made in the last day. So just as an experiment, let's go to one of their pieces of content here. They're posting lots of food photographs and information about their rooms. So here's a piece of content. Now, just as an aside, they did post a lot of content at the same time. That's not something I recommend. That was clearly a day that they wanted to get a lot of content out, but I would suggest that schedule your content to meet the needs of your audience, just as you would do on any other platform. But what they've done here is they've said, hit the gym. So they've got a post here about the gym there in the Hilton Doubletree. And that's in Dublin, as I said. So they've got a couple of hashtags here that they're using specifically for Doubletree Dublin. So Doubletree Dublin and then Doubletree by Hilton. So let's click over onto Doubletree by Hilton as an example. And what's quite nice is that now we can actually see on the web all the curation of hashtags. So that's something that you may not realize you can do now on the web. You actually can click through to see hashtags. Now down here is a post which was posted on the 18th of October. And how do I know that about that post? Well, it was mine. So I deliver a workshop, which happens to be for the PR Institute in Ireland, and the Hilton Doubletree is the venue that we use. And I actually made a little comment about the food, and in fact, the Hilton Doubletree actually commented over on Twitter at the time, not over on Instagram. So just to test out this theory about what happens with this new change, so anybody who's coming in now, I'm just talking about the fact that Instagram changed their hashtag policy. So basically, when you put a hashtag into Instagram, no matter when it might be, even months or even years later, it becomes curated at the same stage as at the same point in that hashtag stream as when it was originally posted. So here's the example of the Doubletree. And what I did is I went back to my content here and I added the hashtags. And I didn't, in fact, if I looked at it on the web on the mobile app, I could see a timestamp. So if you went back to my post and you wanted to, if you want to do so, you can actually see I've actually said this was 6 months ago that I posted it. When I'm on the app, you'll be able to see that I put a geo tag there as well. But these two hashtags here, I posted in the last 24 hours. And so going back to this change, you can see that if I'd normally done it, I might have been at the top of the stream. If I'd done that after the time that Hilton Doubletree had posted this specific post, but in fact, there we see it, I'm actually down here. Now, there's not a lot of content around this specific hashtag, but that is something that I know many people were concerned about. And in fact, Instagram have got a hashtag project over the weekend, or every weekend, and this last time it was listen. And what happened was that people then objected to this change in their policy. So there was a lot of people using the project hashtag and used that to actually try to say to Instagram, please change it back. And I think the reason that they've made this change is because a lot of people were perhaps spamming the feed. I think it's a bit of a disappointing move because hashtags are subject related. They don't have to be, for me, real time. So, it's about a topic. So for example, on Twitter, there are Twitter chats and people use the same hashtag each time they go into that Twitter chat, maybe week by week or month by month. Or for me, I'm a member of a professional association and we have a hashtag for an event. So all of our content gets curated against that hashtag. It's not down to the specific time that it was done. It was people just want to have their content shared there. And it could be all kind of cross-curated into other platforms like Rebel Mouse and many other tools. Now, I do know that there's some people who like this, and I do know from my own post on Instagram, I actually had some comments here. So just so you can see, I've got Susan was saying she liked the change, that the original purpose was about being in the moment of the photograph. And then we've actually got Phil here saying he likes it if you plan your posts, then the hashtags should be part of your thinking at the time. And then I've got Claudia who's saying that she's disappointed. So two of us have overtly said we're disappointed and two have said that they like it. What are your thoughts? Do you think this is a good move on Instagram's account in terms of making this change? So that's all I wanted to share with you today. As I said, if you came at the beginning of this session, I was just showing you how content actually gets shared from Meerkat onto Twitter, and showing you what that live event looks like and the fact that it starts to broadcast from the web if you're actually watching on that. And then I wanted to go on to talk to you about this update in terms of visual content on Instagram, and also the change here that I've actually been reporting on. Would be interested in terms of what you're thinking about the quality of this audio today. I actually have put my earbuds into the phone because I've got a little bit of echo in this room in the office. So just wanted to see what you thought of it. If you do want more thoughts on Instagram, then I do regularly post Instagram tips over on my Instagram account. And the other thing is, if you're getting into live streaming, for a long time I've been covering tips on using Google Hangouts on air for live streaming, but also go back over to my Twitter account and you'll see some videos, most recently one there about using Periscope. So I just did a walkthrough of how to use Periscope. And also if you go scroll back a little bit further on, you'll see content that I've done about automating archiving of content to YouTube from your Meerkats casts that you've done, and also a walkthrough of how to use Meerkat. So thanks again for joining me here today. I don't see any questions, so I'm going to sign out now. And thanks, as I said, for participating in this session. Let me know if you've found this visual content marketing tip of assistance, and there's other tips that you would like me to cover. Please don't hesitate to come back to me and let me know what kind of topics you'd like me to cover on these kind of short live streams. Have a great week, and I'll speak to you again very soon. Bye for now.